We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and fund our work
to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
We are Hive Ultimate, a group of players and coaches from all over the world working together to progress the next generation of Ultimate strategy. We've helped top teams win world championships and new teams introduce the sport in a fun and inclusive way. Search for Hive Ultimate on YouTube to learn more about our cutting-edge strategies and to see analysis of world-class teams. To find out what Hive can do for your team, head over to our Patreon page where you can gain access to our exclusive drills and session plans and to join our worldwide community of coaches. Get ahead of the curve with Hive Ultimate.
Enjoying the show? Show your support for the live stream and the people making the show. Buy a super chat or super sticker on YouTube directly. Select your donation and type your message to the world. And share. All donations go into directly funding new shows. Buy a super sticker or super chat now. Thank you.
Real quick sprints, take the disc briskly, sunshine glints off my frisbee crisply, knows how it goes with the sand between our toes. We got both of the pivots and all of the throws. Got to hold the disc and move it at the right time. When you flick your wrist and you're feeling sublime, compose your throws, not discuss fluttery, tricks from the brick and your biscuits buttery. Feel the spirit, stretch every sinew, stream, encourage, yeah, we continue. Take my hand, yeah, come with me, from the disc to the sand, to the beach, to the sea. There's magic in the air, all you have to do is catch it. EBUCC 2022.
Welcome to the action live in Portimão. It's the European Ultimate Beach Club Championships 2022 and we have another scintillating matchup in the women's division. It's pre-quarter-finals time. Seagulls of Hamburg, Germany versus Ladiesjonctées of Dijon in France. Hannah Penderbury on the call this fine. Just about 11 o'clock game, or it's 1:45, with Tom Stiles here alongside me, and this is going to be a heck of a game. Ladiesjonctées having emerged from the pool of three with a three-way tie between Tequila Boom Boom, Ladiesjonctées and also Icenia. That was a crazy one, but of course Seagulls being from the pool of four coming out and expected to win this one, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that three-way tie does give us lots of question marks about the talent here. I was chatting with the Icenia team yesterday, and they said, well, all three of those teams could have won all three of those games. So it's very difficult to know whether this is a really high-quality team that are going to push Seagulls hard, or whether Seagulls' overall quality and pedigree are going to win out in the end.
Well, it's definitely a game of athletes that are different in terms of physicality. There's a lot of youth in terms of the French side. I think it's 15 ans is the lowest age and 38 the highest in terms of the French side. But the height of Seagulls, the wingspan that they have, especially on this beach surface, could be a real difference maker.
And you've got the Borneau sisters who featured this summer at the World Games for France. Both of them feature for Ladiesjonctées.
And they are, as you'd expect, at the top of the stats board currently. 4 assists and 5 goals for Eva Borneau, the younger, and Lison Borneau, the older, is on 8, 6 assists and 2 goals. But across the board, they only have 2 players that haven't managed to get themselves any on the tally. And in terms of Seagulls, of course, you have Maria Sevold sat with 8 total across the top. But Svenja Pruns is, a little bit further down the stat sheet, but watch out for her, often shouted as a target to be shut down, as we're going to get this one underway with the Germans coming out on offense with that advantage. So Sevold. Oh, it's a low release and doesn't quite manage to take it away, but the pressure laid on. And Raffenberg is going to have to put the mark on. Eva Borneau dishes back to her sister. Expect those two to sort of marshal the offense from the back. The style that Ladiesjonctées like to play is sort of, switching it up, changing it around. But at the moment, looking a touch static. They just swing it across between the 2 sisters. Oh, a nice blade over the top. And a pop into the end zone for the first goal. And it's a break for the French. Fanny Delessé picking up that goal.
Yeah, really impressive to see the 2 sisters connect. Whether they have anything else in this team is going to be the mark, because if they can take away the Borneau connection, did look like Ladiesjonctées were quite static apart from that, but they got the block, they provided all the flow and the assist into the end zone as well.
Well, and that's also coming out on defense for Ladiesjonctées. Lovely slicing flick. But still early stages. This is obviously the first game for both these teams of today. And Ladiesjonctées, of course, having come out of that pool of 3, Tom, they've had 1 fewer games. So they've not only got the age advantage, perhaps, in terms of the energy and the rapid movement, but also having had that 1 extra rest.
Yeah, just 2 games for them yesterday.
Although they were very intense, to say, a universe point finish over Icenia and a loss by 2 to Tequila Boom Boom. This is good match defense. Seagulls just having to again swing it, but that's a nice find up line, well placed. Svenja Pruns looking around.
Really intelligent poach off defense there, just taking away the lane.
Jakobsen has Pruns going into the end zone. Oh, and that's a nice cheeky break to find the goal, and it's a good clean hold for Seagulls.
Kunai with the brilliant assist, just blasting it in. And was it Pruns with the reception in the end zone?
Indeed. Esther Kunai, we mentioned in their previous live stream game, normally plays for the Germany beach mixed team Sandstrom, and comes and tends to join Seagulls when they're on sand. Of course, the EUCF roster for Seagulls was a bit different, had some cheeky pickups in there.
And the Seagulls is a side with a lot of history, particularly at this tournament. They're currently defending champions. That was a team with Nikki Prien and Levka Volchak that took the championship last time. So they don't necessarily have the same depth. The team from Hamburg, though, regulars all across the top level of European Ultimate.
Although they have the same mentality, they were saying. That last time in 2018, it was about enjoying themselves at this tournament. That's a lovely pull, nice and deep. They can't quite run it down to pin the Borneau sisters in Callahan County. But Seagulls, part of their warm-up is playing a card game called Lucky Luck, of which Lisa Holgrab is their defending champion on that. But they're here to just enjoy themselves and see how far they can go in this tournament. Borneau.
There's a pick called. It's going to come back. Lison Borneau is just looking at that deep shot, wondering why it was quite so available, but got called back just before she let go of the disc.
Lison is going to put a beautiful disc into the end zone for her younger sister, and that is a nice, easy goal in the end. And we're just finding a bit more rhythm now. The flow of Seagulls' offensive line was very nice, and the French show they can do very similar.
2 assists for Borneau in 2 points. So Lison Borneau. most stunning scene out here. The wind has dropped to almost zero. The sun shining and off the Atlantic, and the marina with the boats just anchored up. So a few masts bobbing up and down, and the players from the European Beach Ultimate Club Championships enjoying the hospitality of Portimão here on the Algarve.
And I have to say, the restaurateurs and local sort of, staff who are more used to just beach holidaying tourists have, whenever we've been here in Portimão, always complimented the Ultimate athletes on actually just their general behaviour and sense of how they do things, which is always very nice to see. Spirit of the game sort of, just showing on and off the field, as that's a beautiful put into the end zone for the next goal.
Yeah, it was Leah Bulcholz who got the score. Pruns with the big assist down the line. Just finding their rhythm here after that opening break to the French.
Well, in the first live stream game we had for Seagulls yesterday, their O-line was almost flawless until the end. Took a really long time for there to be any breaks in that one, or just any pure turnovers. Certainly when Seagulls had it on D, they weren't giving it back to their opponents, but of course they were playing against the Swiss side. Fabulous.
Yeah, it's a good point. There's just the one turnover.
When they have a 12-6 lead. Well, no, sorry, talking about the O-line of Seagulls.
Game, yeah.
When we saw them against Fabulous, until 12-6, their O-line did not have a single turnover. But of course, there might be some fiery defense from the French. You see the Bourneau sisters once again sat at the back.
And a zone coming down from Seagulls here. 3 around the disc. It's going to prevent the Bourneau flow.
But eventually they squeak it out to Chloe Roy. But a turnover with a bit of clustering on that far sideline. I think trying to connect with each other, but unfortunately it's going to be the first opportunity really for Seagulls to try and snag that break back. With Ladiesjonctées having taken first in this match. No, there's a nice upline kite for Brugner, but not taken. Swinging round. Raffenberg. It's a high one, but well drilled in. Brugner looking around. There is a poach available on the far side. Complete poach. Walrab sees it. Lots of communication from the French sideline, trying to aid their teammates. Raffenberg with lots of space. The loose mark from Bourneau now tightens up. Oh, and that's a beautiful shot to the break side, and it's the goal for Wibke Brugner.
They took their time there. They great patience from Seagulls. Didn't rush it, and eventually it's Olivieri providing the shot to Brugner for the goal.
Yeah, and Laura Olivieri actually able to provide a little bit of insight into how to play against Ladiesjonctées. Not necessarily having played with or against many of the Dijon-based athletes, but she played at the World Masters Ultimate Club Championships for, PUC. They used to be at EBUCC, now they're just PUC, who unfortunately didn't go as far as they'd hoped. They got a little bit, let's just say the scheduling at the World Masters Championships was very brutal due to the absolute lack of any kind of crossovers. If you didn't do well in your pool, or if you had a pool that was difficult to advance out of, it was just tough luck. But of course, these pre-quarter final in front of us is the opportunity for teams to make sure that things are a little bit more fair than just straight pulls into the championship bracket. Tight pressure from Svenja Pruns on the mark. Nice fine through to Charlotte Truot. Lots of clustering. The backspace is going to give the disc though to Seagulls. Liamiel unable to bring that one down. Lots of players all clustering towards Nayes with the one around though. That's going to be picked off.
I'm not sure what Nayes is looking at there, but whatever it was didn't materialise. Takes the opportunity to get the disc back for Ladiesjonctées.
Yeah, Judith Thackett was available, sort of not really being marked, but sometimes it's like when you don't have a force or there's someone really free, it causes a bit of mental confusion. Oh, a nice effort on the layout, but that's just going to sail off the fingertips Pauline Guillemin.
Just lacking the polish necessary against Seagulls. Seagulls aren't going to give you big wide windows to throw into. Everything's going to be tight. And pressure is paying off here.
Oh, but that's a lovely run through bit of defense.
Naivety by Nayez there. I don't think that pass was ever on.
There was separation initially, but actually Ladiesjonctées just came in and sort of slammed the door shut. I think Kune maybe sort of got a bit overconfident. But at the moment, it's the Seagulls defense pressuring all of the options on the field. It's a really low one, trying to squeak it out, but unfortunately not to be. There was a shot available. Nayez deciding to holster it and try and treasure the disc, and eventually squeaks it through. Svenja Pruns for the goal. And that is 3 on the bounce for Hamburg.
And I think with Ladiesjonctées not having the Borneau sisters on the field there, they just don't look like the same team. And it's hard to kind of keep drawing attention to this, the fact that they're so dependent on those 2 youngsters. But it bears out, you know, Seagulls able to shut them down, and at the 3rd time of asking, Nayez putting it into the end zone. Good play, good patience from Seagulls, and they're turned over Ladiesjonctées within the first 10 metres of the field every time.
Oh yeah, but I suppose to give Ladiesjonctées a little bit of creds, they have been getting blocks back, and that is something we did not really see Fabulous do against Seagulls, really much at all. So 4-2 now the score. There is a deficit, but if the French can pull it together, maybe, you know, keep the Borneau sisters on for a little bit longer, let them play a bit more defense. They certainly are very young, both in the, you know, the early stages of their careers, 19 and 21 years of age.
Seagulls have again coming down with this 3-person zone, forcing the 2 handlers back.
Well, now much better movement upfield, though, to try and stretch those deeps away. It all looked very squeezed in for a minute. The wind starting to pick up, making those shots a bit more challenging. Borneau finds a beautiful slicer across to Dio. Oh, the give-go comes unstuck, though. Chanel Pouin unable to keep that one in.
Oh, such a shame. They had all the space. Just maybe panicked that they had so much space and those quick 1-2s were going to work, but needed a flat disc then, didn't deliver it.
Oh, huge effort from Borneau to try and steal the disc away. Raffenberg swings across to Olivieri. It's a nice high backhand break, well reeled in. Rodolphe. Oh, but it's a little bit too high. She has a second go at it, but Raffenberg unable to snaffle it up. Borneau casually swaggering towards the disc, giving her teammates time to push through. Borneau to Borneau, not really much movement required upfield. Manon Dio just hanging around in the right space. And now a melt to match for Seagulls. There is a big poach. Perhaps if they could flood somebody, they might find the opportunity. There's a hammer over the top. Is it going to be taken away by the defense? Yes, it is. In the spaces, Raffenberg, and denies the French.
And you can see the weariness on Eva Borneau twice there. Once when the turnover happened, every coach in the book would say Eva Borneau should have run over that disc and let someone else pick it up as first to the disc. And then second there, Lison Borneau stuck on the sideline, looked to her sister twice and didn't get a cut from her. So maybe that weariness starting to creep in. They have been relied upon a lot.
Well, the disc is going to be softly thrown towards the end zone. Manon Dio is there. That's a nice bit of flow. Borneau sister connection. Is it going to work out? Oh, that looks gorgeous. It works out. Borneau for your money.
Beautiful shot into the end zone eventually. Perfectly weighted. And Eva Borneau gratefully running that one down. Certainly found the energy again. Am I being overcritical of her play there, or did she genuinely look tired?
I think it's absolutely fine. The thing is, Tom, running on sand is a lot of effort.
A lot of work.
And when you don't have too much time to recover between points, especially because the Seagulls' offense is very slick. You know, they're not really struggling to work the flow through. So actually, as a defender, when you're coming back out and spending a lot of time on the field trying to get the disc away, then having your opportunities, it's quite tricky. Obviously, that was an offensive point for Ladiesjonctées, but the same sort of thing. It's that the amount of time that the top players on this Dijon side are having to spend out on the sand pit, and it just does take it out of you. They are young enough and certainly athletic enough to recover between points, but without that gap, it can become quite tricky. Maria Seagulls with a rather fetching red headband. In fact, all the bejeweled headband players for Seagulls are the people who were at the World Club Championships. One of their teammates made those during a flight delay for that tournament. Jakobsen opens up the arm but dials it in super hard. That's going to be picked out. And an opportunity for Ladiesjonctées to try and get back one of the 2 breaks that they currently trail in this game. Still count rising, but finds a release valve in Bosso. Nobody really attacking the deep space. Just everyone so close to this. Borno down the sideline has a target available, chooses it. Look at that separation. Toro looking around. Heimer over the top, but that is a bit too adventurous and an opportunity squandered.
Oh, Doro got herself into a brilliant position, got the big disc to gain the yards from Eva Bono, and then didn't quite have the presence to put in the right disc into the end zone.
But rather than those short field turns we saw previously, this is a much longer space, but it's going to be eaten up. Sails over the top of Jakobsen though, doesn't quite read it well. Good defensive pressure.
Should also credit the turnover that Ladiesjonctées got, Leah Millet. That was one of those ones where if she touched that and tried to get a block, it would have sailed and carried into the end zone. She caught the Ds. That's such an important thing. Keeping it alive, Ladiesjonctées.
Did you hear that hand block through our headphones, Tom? The amount of power that this must have had to keep going. What a release. Bosso. Laetitia, the grandmother of this team, if you will, if you can really call her a grandmother. She's been playing since 2007. But Yel looking around, that's a really nice big release, but it's way too big to hit Eva Bono. And another opportunity missed, and a timeout being taken by Maria Sevold. Oh. Now that is a smart move.
A relief from everybody on the field. You see the body language of both teams, like, this is exhausting work. It's a hot part of the day, and they run around hard.
Indeed, we've just emerged the burning section between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. But as the athletes on the field take a short break and grab some water, refreshments, we suggest that you do the same. We'll be back after these.
We are Hive Ultimate, a group of players and coaches from all over the world working together to progress the next generation of Ultimate strategy. We've helped top teams win world championships and new teams introduce the sport in a fun and inclusive way. Search for Hive Ultimate on YouTube to learn more about our cutting-edge strategies and to see analysis of world-class teams. To find out what Hive can do for your team, head over to our Patreon page where you can gain access to our exclusive drills and session plans and to join our worldwide community of coaches. Get ahead of the curve with Hive Ultimate.
Help Go Electric, become a member.
Don't want to miss anything?
There are loads of tournaments happening, which you can attend either as a player or a spectator. You can find them on ULTI.TV, link in the description.
Welcome back to the first half of women's pre-quarterfinals between Seagulls of Hamburg and Ladiesjonctées of Dijon. Clues in the name. Maria Sevold having called the timeout and giving a little bit of a recovery for both sides is turning into a long old point as Ladiesjonctées try and get a break back. They currently trail by 2. Pruns Fires to Jakobsen, who's given all the space underneath. Kunai now. Around to Pruns. Seagold available under, but closely marked. Kraft across. Doesn't like the look of the options in upfield.
Interesting position from Borno here, just staying in the lane, not allowing Pruns to have the disc back, but avoiding those up shots.
Yeah, Svenja Pruns so devastating as she gets a bit of momentum behind her. Looks like a sort of a forced middle from the French side. Bosso trying to do some intelligent poaching into the lane. Pruns looking at a give-go. This is lovely patience from Seagulls as they look to stamp this one in, and Pruns escapes to the break side, and it's the goal. A hold for Seagulls, but that is the first time we've really seen their offense challenge this hard.
Yeah, turnover a piece for the teams there, but it's Seagulls that come, and Svenja Pruns just running the show there. Every other pass coming her way. Eva Borno not able to stay with her as she moved around the field. Whatever Eva Borno was giving her, she took, and eventually finished in the end zone with a disc in her hand.
This is much better from Ladiesjonctées. They seem to be able to kind of find a bit more form and a bit more flow now, and they are, from their pool games, very much capable of grinding out a tight, close win. But I'd quite like to see, Tom, them putting the Borno sisters a bit more upfield. At the moment, it's been sort of having them at the back, allowing them to try and marshal from behind. But realistically, I think you've got to isolate those players up in the space, because they also have the ability and the athleticism to come down with something that might be thrown a little bit wonky.
Trust your receiver. Always got to trust your receiver.
So certainly thinking about the sudden death finish against Icenia, Ladiesjonctées were indeed 3 points underneath their British opponents and ground that one back. Icenia were up by 3 in both of their pool games and unfortunately didn't quite manage to come out the right side of both of those. But did of course get the win against Tequila Boom Boom, which caused the 3-way tie madness in this hotly contested women's division. So Borno, Luzon looking around for options, has a reset available, just about sails it over the fingertips. And that is a lovely find. And that is a hold for Ladiesjonctées, but much quicker, much smoother. There was a little bit of a heart in throat moment as the disc sailed over Miha Brodalf, but that was much better.
Yeah, the Borno sisters connecting again, but that disc to find Eva Borno on this side, that really opened up the field. But what a put into the end zone as well. Really good into the wind now, which has just picked up in the last 10 minutes. Perfect float, front of the line, no further work required. Let's see that again. Just flicks it. Enough carry, enough float, coming away from the defender and into the hands of the receiver. Excellent work from the young French team.
And that is the dangerous thing about playing zone on beach against a team that have a lot of athleticism and speed. It's that idea of, especially the youth and the composition of the French athletes, they can move really well across this surface. And the height advantage of the Germans not necessarily being used to full effect at the moment, but that first time we've seen, as the wind does pick up, Tom, the first time it's coming sort of across the field as that one sails out of bound, pushed by the wind that's coming from far to near side of the pit of sand. I say pit, it's a pitch of sand.
Yeah, it's definitely picked up, hasn't it, quite noticeably. A little chill in the air, little more ripples on the Atlantic, out beyond the flags.
We are expecting a drop of 3 degrees Celsius from the height of the temperature of the day from yesterday, but I have it confirmed it still feels just as warm out there on the sand as we see Nayes isolated in the space. Has Jakobsen underneath, completely available, and throws an easy one that's well collected for the next goal. Is that Pruns again?
No.
It's Leah Bullschultz. the number 52.
So 6-4 lead to Seagulls now, within one of taking the half. Edging their way through this game, and the wind has picked up enough to cause
start messing with our parasol.
Yeah.
Of course, all of our commentary team are British by birth, and none of us are particularly tan. No olive skin complexions, unfortunately. We're extremely undiverse in that manner. And if you'd like to get yourself involved as part of our media crew, because the people in the booth might be all quite pale, but we do have some excellently, wonderfully diverse human beings underneath us in our hard-working commentary, our production booth even. But if you want to get involved, reach out. We're always looking for more talent to come and add their creativity to our broadcast, or you can just support us by super stickering, super chatting, all that good stuff, or becoming a patron at patreon.com. Check out our social media handles, ULTI.TV on everything, as to how you can get involved and keep Ultimate free to watch live and on demand. And that's a lovely find to Lisanne Bourneau across the field from her younger sister. The two giving and going. There is again a completely poached off reset. Doesn't seem to like to look at it. Eventually finds Laetitia Bosso. Gonna see it crashing, coming through, but a little bit late. Miel. Oh, beautiful shot over the top. That's gorgeous execution. Lisanne Bourneau to Bourneau. Oh, nice little razor fine, but it's going to tip off the fingers a bit too much on that one.
Yeah, too hot for Leah Millet. She's played a good game here. Did like the way Seagulls, as soon as the disc came across, all the Seagulls players just backed away. It makes it really difficult to take the deep shot into the wind over the top of those players. Much easier to go around a player that's standing closer.
Well, the name might be Honey, but unfortunately her hands were not sticky enough to retain possession, and Seagulls pinned on the far sideline, going to have to chuck the release, but unfortunately sails past Bruckner. But that was great pressure. The intensity of the defense of Ladiesjonctées is starting to rise. They figure out their opponents. Truot now swings across. Miel sitting in the backspace. High release over the top. Is that floating too far? No, it's not. Beautiful redemption. Well kept in. Charlotte Drouot pops back to Bosso. Oh, if Drouot had kept her eyes on the handler, that could have worked. Over the top we go. The defense is there, but well read by Bourneau. She's going to add another to her tally. She lasers it, tries to find, but cannot connect with her sister.
Well, it's such a shame to see Ladiesjonctées not score that point, because they had all the potential was there, but just not quite that same chemistry and connections. There was cuts when they were needed, they weren't coming. There was throws that when they needed to be holstered and calm didn't go, just were sent. There's all the ingredients are there, but at the moment they've mixed together and it's curdling and not gelling.
Well, let's see if we can get that fiery defense going again. Of course, it's again, these players are spending a long time out on the sand. It's going to sit and hang for Krabs, but she gets it. Lasers it on the inside backhand. Prodalf finds the lead. Raffenberg is thinking about hanging out into the deep space, but Bourneau's just on that shoulder. Oh, and a lovely bit of run-through defense. A strange shot, but that's going to go straight to the end zone. It's going to be too big, though, trying to hit Drouot. And again, Ladiesjonctées come up short.
Drouot did a great job there, just standing that half a yard off, almost baiting the throw in, and then pounced on it to get the block. Continued the run. Heartbreak to see the disc go too far beyond her. Again, the ingredients are there. It's just not quite working for the French at the moment.
Well, you can see the players on the field are tired. Off to the end zone goes Prodalf. Bit more commitment in that deep cut this time, but still not taken. Krebs, but Raffenberg is going to have to come back for the travel. Plays resetting. Krebs is still available, but chooses to swing away. It's going to sit and be high, but well collected by Maria Linz. Dish across. These discs really evidencing the winds that keeps them high and sitting, and that one just got pushed into the sand by that breeze. You can see the flags directly towards the camera view. Bourneau goes for the shimmy to try and attack the inside, swings across to her sister. Has the upline available. Oh, and she just turns on the jets. Bourneau to Bourneau, another to add to their collection in this tournament. And that's the hold for Ladiesjonctées. They keep the half alive, 6-5.
Yeah, eventually the Bourneau connection is the outlet. They do seem to have got that power and energy, but so many points during the possession previously. They were in the end zone, not making those cuts. So it's that there's a lot of dependency on those two players, and maybe it's just too much. They're very, very young, and as their sort of skills and athleticism and stamina build, maybe they could carry the team further. But at the moment, sticking close to Seagulls. In fact, that's a break, isn't it? Is that a break?
No, just a hold.
Just a hold. Yeah, 6-5 is the 6-5 is the score.
Well, it's an interesting one. You're talking about the sort of, age and experience. I mean, Eva Bourneau, who's the younger of the two sisters, has already been playing for 7 years. And of course, they are World Games level athletes, so the pinnacle of the French ultimate scene. And Eva says her ultimate sporting hero is of a tennis player, Serena Williams, obviously, who just recently retired to go do awesome things with her entrepreneurial efforts. Of course, a very deservedly so rich lady, but that is going to be riches into the end zone, run down by Esther Kunet for an easy hold. And again, the speed with which the Seagulls can pump in their offensive possessions even. And that's 7-5. But I don't think many would have said that a certain set of twins who come from Colombia couldn't have put a team on their back at the tender ages of late teens, early 20s.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
I don't know. I feel like the Bourneau sisters, considering how much impact they've had on this first half time, they could well Bourneau their way out of this deficit.
Well, Lizon Bourneau has 3 assists and 1 goal, and Eva Bourneau has 2 assists and 2 goals to their name already. So yeah, I mean, perhaps you're right.
Well, I think they're probably already Bourneauing their way through that first half.
Bourneauing their way.
It works. It's a fantastic name.
Yeah,
to turn into just an adjective.
7-5 the score, and
of course no stoppage for half-time, no break really. Both teams just trading sides and trading possession.
There was me wondering why the disc was at this end of the field, but thank you, Hannah. It is half.
Indeed, these games played to 45 minutes, so there's about 12 left on the... Well, no, just shy. 11 left on the clock.
The big advantage here for Seagulls coming out in the second half, but also going downwind. It's a crosswind, but it's coming from the our right and across the field. Millet with the disc.
Yeah, Le Miel. The honey, so named. Thinks about the around. Could just chuck it and go, but finds Bousseau. Bousseau, the elder player on this team, is going to go indeed for a bit of huck and D. The sport teacher from Fontaine-lès-Dijon.
I don't dislike that throw, actually. I think the Ladiesjonctées could have given them a bit more options, because they're throwing with the wind. It's a perfect flick wind to get a really long throw into the end zone, and then it gives Seagulls a really tough ask to come all the way back down the other field, other end of the field. The
wind asked a lot of Svenja Pruns there, but she was able to make the recatch. Seevold now has Pruns striking into the deep space, going to take her on. There is loads of traffic though, and that's going to be run down by Lia Miel. Just see her shaking the disc like a tambourine to knock the excess sand off. I think that probably, actually no, I'll tell you what, it didn't go out of bounds in the middle, went out of bounds where she brought it in. Just sailed through the middle initially. So Seagulls on the mark. Nice use of that deep space, not being massively respected by Pruns considering the wind. Brousseau now doesn't like the look of Miel's cut. Someone's going to have to come through. Stall count starts to rise, just about squeaks the reset. Oh. The mark of Seagulls nearly gave the easy break, but a rather sharp in-cut from Pauline Guillemin is going to give ideal field position for Seagulls to take another break in this game.
I want to go down there and give them a team talk about just open up the deep space and start sending it, especially when you're going this direction, because they don't have any deep options. All the cuts are coming back towards them, and in this breeze, they've got to use that.
Well, they did have one initially, but it was sort of just difficult. The forces are so tight, and that's nearly a bit of friendly fire for Seagulls as they get the break, but a cuddle to finish that one off. But you put it just in the general vicinity of two Seagulls players in the end zone. They've got the height, they've got the wind, keeping the discs sort of sat aloft. Not the cleanest of scores, but it'll do. 8-5, they extend their lead. But it's the, I think the biggest thing is the pressure and the closeness of the handler marks in that point, Tom. Because I totally take your point. They did initially have a little bit of action sort of towards the end zone, but the difficulty with which they're finding to just reset the disc, those sort of really small but really uncomfortable passes, hats off to the marking on the handlers for Seagulls, because that really makes it difficult. If you've got a really tight mark right in front of you, you can find those squeaky little holes through, but actually winding up and generating the momentum to ping it to this far end zone and use that wind, it's quite difficult.
It is a tough ask. Great play from Seagulls, straight up force, preventing the throws. But that ball's gone out of bounds. It's going to be walked all the way up to the brick.
And these, I don't know if you've spotted it yet, Tom, but the tape lines that we've got marking out these fields have a little wording on them that says brick. So you know exactly where the brick mark should be.
Helpful.
It's almost like they were designed for ultimate. Nice find in the middle. Chanel Pouin pops it back to Bourneau. Did have a flash in that central space, has to keep moving.
Interesting zone here from Seagulls. One mark and then three players in a sort of a broad cup. Or is it's a three cup with two wings picking up the deeps as they arrive. We'll study it further. I'm sure we're going to get a chance to see quite a lot of it. But it's effective at the moment, forcing the French team back.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see them get a bit more flow going. They need to attack it through from behind into the middle like the Bourneau sisters are now doing, almost like they can hear what I'm saying, Tom. The shot to the end zone just shy. Manon Dio waiting around, looking for the opportunity. Bourneau behind, Bourneau in front. It's a Dijon sandwich, but not quite Dijon mustard. But can it be? Oh, one feeds the other. Again, a pick call, going to bring us back.
I think it was a travel. She wasn't in.
Ah, fair. Oh, and again, an action replay, a little layout. I think that's probably a difficult rating of 2 out of 10, but she does it in style.
Maybe slightly for the cameras, but you know, while you're on the cameras, why not use them? It's 8-6, and Ladiesjonctées are staying in this game. Seagulls, despite looking like a stronger team throughout, the scoreboard says it's a 2-point game, and now Ladiesjonctées critically have scored that upwind point. If they can come down here with some big defense, potentially get the break downwind, then this could be a much closer game.
I'd love to see Ladiesjonctées doing a bit of giving Seagulls a taste of their own medicine. Now, I'm no master tactician, but some really tight forces to try and sort of, you know, really, really active, use their energy, you know, leave yourself a little bit for offense afterwards, but getting in the faces of the throwers, making it really hard to put those big shots out, because Seagulls definitely can open up the feathers and just, you know, launch it against this wind. Definitely back them to do that. But then fronting the upfield players a little bit, you know, making Seagulls really go over the top of you against the wind as well, I think that might be quite good. But we'll see what they do.
Well, they've got a good pull to the middle of the end zone, which has gone to the sand.
Well, the movement of Esther Kunai, but the block is generated. Huge stuff from Eva Bourneau. Now, can she make something of it? Her sister going straight off to the end zone. A bit of traffic, but it's a hammer over the top that's way too big.
Oh, it was Lizon Bourneau got the grab. Eva was gone into the end zone, but they're very similar looking.
Well, they've also, the numbers are so similar, 13 and 18.
It was a huge block, a real turning point, exactly as we said. They needed to come and take this break. And I don't mind that throw into the end zone with the breeze the way it is, just putting a bit of pressure, but they are still playing a single one-on-one match. Can they generate the pressure from that?
Well, they have been putting the pressure on. Nice big mark from Laetitia Bosso. Squeezes it around to Sivold. A little bump from Bourneau, but there.
Yeah, called. There definitely was some contact. You said it.
It's an interesting one, because you are supposed to call the call that you, as soon as you see it, and if you choose to throw after a foul call, I believe the continuation rule is that does stand.
Yeah, the contact from Lizon Bourneau as she arrived. We can see a replay of it here. There's the bump. It was sort of almost in the throwing motion, though. I think looking at that replay perhaps does justify the foul call a little more.
Well, it's not up to us, Tom, and what we thought happened. It's up to the players in the field, as the beauty of this self-officiated sport.
Disc goes in. There's the contact. There's the throw. So
it's a close fought thing, but we'll allow the players on the field to have a chat about it. That one is going to come back. Not sure if it's contested or accepted.
Let's hopefully we'll get a hand signal from Lizon.
Oh, hold on. I think Jakobsen showed a 0. There you go. Accepted. Yeah. Accepted foul. I prefer the wording accepted rather than uncontested, but look at the force of Lizon Bourneau, making it very difficult for Sivold. Bosso. Oh, a little bit of touch, nearly a hand block, but not quite. But at the moment, Ladiesjonctées are gunning for this one. Laying out. Is that Lizon Bourneau? Yes, it is. Bourneau. Hungry for blocks.
Yeah, she's got the bit between her teeth in this game, really feeling the fire.
Sivold. Matching up against Lizon. Kunai now. You can see almost a bit of hesitation from Seagulls under the pressure of this French defense. But more than capable and happy of just taking the easy ones. Eva Bourneau far away. Doesn't put much pressure on that one to Jakobsen. This is where Seagulls can just ease off the gas a little bit. They can afford to hold it as we get closer to time. That one's going to sail over the top. Can it be redeemed? Oh, yes, it is. A layout clap catch emerging from the sand with the disc.
Incredible presence in the end zone to make sure of that point. And despite the pressure and despite Lizon Bourneau going horizontal 3 times in the point, Seagulls that come away with the point. That's a real body blow for the French, because they had an opportunity to get that downwind score and capitalise on their upwind hold. But Seagulls really showing themselves as the class team here.
Yeah, Lea Buchholz there, getting another to add to her tally. Who's been having a pretty good game in the end zone. Not somebody we talk about very much for Seagulls. But originally from Seoul, she's currently living, she's one of the Hamburg proper crew. She's an engineer. She says hello to her boyfriend Jan and her parents Rita and Jay.
Was it Bruckner with the eventual grab in the end zone?
No, it was Buchholz, I believe. So 9-6 Seagulls maintain that 3-point lead. That was just an offensive hold in the end. But after that huge block from Lison Bourneau, they just couldn't make it work. Got too hasty. Needed to be more Seagulls and have that patience. So, Bourneau and Miel at the back. Good defence under from Olivieri. Eva having to work hard in the backspace. Miel, she's been given that open side. Bourseau. Miel being given acres of room for a reset, just needs to stay where she is. Lovely give go, this is a bit more momentum, yes. Oh yes, please. Doesn't like it, wants to hit the break side instead. But the energy to try and get free on the open side leaves the downfield static. Bourseau now for the reset. Bourneau might have to put this one on her shoulders. Oh, lovely break. The high release backhand. Miel with a nice turn across to the break side. Leaves her mark for dust, opens up a huge break. Eva Bourneau with the goal, and that's a nice bit of play for Ladiesjonctées. It might be a touch too late. This one will be a game to 10, I believe. We'll get confirmation from our wonderful scorekeepers.
I was really impressed by Seagulls all the way through that point, just sagging off. Every time there was a threat that there was going to be a D shot, a deep shot going up, they just sagged off and took away the option. But the persistence of the French, and particularly Eva Bourneau, kept on running, kept on getting free. They used the whole team there as well. So there's a game to 10. We've had that confirmed from down on the line.
And what a hero grab from Eva Bourneau. Showing what she's capable of out here on the sand. If only they had a couple more of them. But perhaps 2 is enough for the world.
Très Bourneau.
Well, it would be 3 if there were 3 of them, but they are très good. Très bien.
Exposing Tom's completely hopeless French.
Well, I did translate some of the player surveys last night because they had written them in French.
Oh.
I did listen to their team talk, not team talk, the chat they gave us ahead of the game was, again, all in French. But it's good. Je dois pratiquer plus.
Seagulls now with a chance to take the game here.
Naya's isolation hammer over the top. A lovely one inside. Oh, and this is off to the races. Another slicing offense. Can they be patient now? Esther Kunai's going to have to lay it, but that one is way too far for her. A loose disc in the end zone. Perhaps some overconfidence from Fenja Pruns.
The game's not over yet. Seagulls giving up the disc with that throw back to Kunai. It's just overcooked a little bit. Maybe the breeze helping it on its way to the sand.
Well, Inge Nayes is completely poaching off to try and hit that deep space. There's a switch for Kunai. That's going to go and over the top, though. That was the right look to try and hit Lai Luchon on this near side.
Yeah, because Luchon was wide open. Downwind just carried a little bit too much. Seagulls with another opportunity now to take the game.
So the pink disc, the most visible against the powdery sand of Portimão. Nayes turns to go up line, but the reset around to Svenja Pruns. This is great cover from the deep space. Jakobsen turning all the way around, a spin move in the center of the field, now found on the break side. Bourneau on the charge. Svenja Pruns wide open. Don't do that. Don't do that ever. Seavold. Trying to hit Pruns, has Jakobsen following. Oh, Jakobsen opens up a beauty of a backhand, and there we go. Svenja Pruns with the grab to end it all. Pre-quarter final winners are Seagulls. They will advance to the championship bracket. It was a fantastic effort from Ladiesjonctées, but unfortunately they didn't quite have the depth to hang tough with the Hamburg side.
You just cannot contain Svenja Pruns. Even with Lison Bourneau marking her, she was a threat in the handler space. And when they took that away from her, she just went deep and then making an incredibly difficult high grab over the shoulder for the game. Brilliant work from the team from Hamburg, and a 3-point margin reflective, but exciting to see Ladiesjonctées put in such a good performance here, and a few extra connections that had worked out there. It might have been a much closer game, but 10-7 the score.
Well, it's another win for Seagulls, the defending champions out here at the European Beach Ultimate Club Championships. They are fallible. They did have that first loss to Castellets of Spain, but we'll have to see how they go in the final business end of this tournament.
The two teams from Valencia, Castellets and Murciélagos, both looking extremely strong out here in Portugal this week, so watch out for them. There'll be more action coming up for you right now here on ULTI.TV. Stay with us in our next game.
Although, to give you a quick update from the other pre-quarter final matches, so Jaka beat Peach Please 13-4. The ongoing game that's not quite finished up between Copenhagen and Clemens at the moment, Copenhagen the favour, and Icenia did indeed advance against Fabulous. So those are the other teams that will be joining, or potentially joining, one game yet to finish the Seagulls team in the top of the women's division here. But next up on the live stream, who do we have, Tom?
It's Sandjob from Ireland versus Salispil, the top two teams from Pool A in the open division, with myself, Tom Stiles, alongside Benji Rees.
Well, that's going to be a hecking game. It's Salispils plus friends. They have some cheeky pickups, which are very much being enjoyed out here on the sand. But myself, Hannah Pendlebury, for Tom Stiles, all of our streaming crew for ULTI.TV, we will see you on the other side.
The ultimate things in life are free, and we're keeping it that way. Subscribe to keep up with the latest games, tournaments, and community content. Share it with your team and friends, and drop a like to help spread Ultimate to more people. Spread the word, spread the love. ULTI.TV.
We believe mixed is the best for the sport, for the world. That's why we're making a global showcase, starting in Europe, made in Amsterdam. ULTI League. ULTILeague.net.
ULTI.TV lyrical.
Merci beaucoup.
ULTI.TV.